Welcome to Books, Dreams, and Financial Things, where we talk about marriage, blending our family, finances, and our dreams. We hope while sharing our journey, you can relate and learn with us and from us.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Jermaine.
And I am Renita.
And today we have a bit of a message that we're going to tell or talk about. Not too happy about it, but I believe it's something that needs to be done.
All right.
Okay. So one of the things that I'm going to talk about, and then we'll get into what we plan on doing, is focus in general, focusing on everything that's going on and everything that's happening. I have to give credit where credit is due. This book, Dan Henry, Digital Millionaire Secrets, is a book that I just finished reading probably a couple days ago. But it talked about focus in general. And right now, I am juggling like three things. I'm trying to do the podcast, obviously the editing. I do the editing and so forth with regards to that, and pitting them up and uploading all of that. I'm developing and trying to do a credit repair company, pitting in the works and doing all of that. And then obviously I own the debt collection agency. And when thinking about all this, and I read a chapter in this book that talked about, your focus and where your pie is and everything that's happening. And the reality is I'm given, a couple hours to each of those three things. And it's sort of kind of stretching me thin, but not like it's too much work, but it becomes hard because I'm focusing on the credit repair company. I'm thinking about what's going on with the podcast and vice versa with the debt collection agency and so forth. And as from reading that chapter and from what I've gathered, just a little bit throughout life, I started saying to myself, you know what, maybe I just need to put 100% focus into one of those things. And then once it gets successful, then I can go to the next thing and the next thing. Because what's happening is it's almost like a pie is how I look at it. And right now on my pie, it's cut up into three different sections. And so when I say I want to give 100% to it, technically I can't, because I only could give 100% for that time span. But I'm sort of kind of wearing myself a little thin, and like I said, mentally it's just sort of kind of tough for me. And so I sat down with my wife. When did we sit down and talk about it?
A couple days ago.
A couple days ago, and I asked her about how she felt about not quitting the podcast and the YouTube and everything we have, but just sort of kind of putting it on a hold so I can focus on a project that I want to sort of kind of launch and get out, and she can focus on her business. And what was your thought process?
Well, my thought process was, I've been juggling lots of different things for a while. I'm just going to be honest. So to me, it was like we could do it all. I went to school, I worked, I launched a business, we did the podcast. So I felt like it's doable.
Right.
But after talking, I did admittedly say that when you do that, there's no area that does get 100% for sure. Even school, it's like some things just didn't get done because there's no way you can do everything in every aspect.
Right.
So I've decided to just go with it. I'm not going to say that I 100% get it or agree, but I'm going to go with it.
Okay. And so with that being said, I respect that. I definitely respect that. I mean, obviously, this is something that we had together with regards to that. As far as my credit repair and debt collections, you helped a little bit, but it wasn't like how we partnered in this situation. And because I feel like if Renita can focus 100% on her business, which is www.frugallyketo.com and her Instagram and so forth, and put all of her energy into that, she can grow it even exponentially, even further. I remember talking to you about it, and I said, well, how much percentage do you think you're putting into your business? And what did you say?
I said about 20%.
20%. So the reality is, if she would be able to take another 80%, or let's say even another 50% into what she's doing, and I've seen with my own eyes how much it has grown from the day that she started to where it is today, imagine how much further it would be, right? And so, and it's the same thing with me. I have a project that I really, really want to put out. a project that I want to work on and get going. And for the next 6 months is what we agreed upon. I wanted to focus primarily on that project. And then with her, she wanted to focus. She figured, okay, I could focus in on her thing, and I'll let you talk a little bit more about that. So exactly, because you're working too.
I still plan to work. I'm
Okay.
working very part-time, but it's something
Okay.
that I enjoy and that I feel like I can still do other things. So
Right.
I still plan to do that. But I do also plan just to get a lot more focused on my business. I think that there are some things that I want to do just for social media purposes, but also just my business in itself with more ebooks and just getting more clientele and just getting very detailed and plan oriented on how I'm going to do that. So that's going to take time, of course, and effort and all that. So
Right. And see, and that's pretty cool. And that's another thing. A lot of women in general, I would say multitasking is something natural
Right.
that you have to do because obviously you're still a mother, obviously you just got through getting your degree, you're running this business, and then you're taking care of the stuff that happens at home, cooking and cleaning and all of that type of stuff. But in this book, one of the things that I read, it was just talking about multitasking. And it's true, you can multitask, but the reality is it's sort of kind of, in essence, a myth and not the actual act of it, because we all do it to a certain extent. But if you can put your energy into one thing, imagine how much further it will grow. And that's just how I'm sort of kind of looking at it now. It's like, you know what? Instead of trying to be pulled and trying to do so many different things, if I could focus in on one thing and put all my effort into it. And the plan is right now for 6 months, we're not going to do the podcast anymore. We're not going to do any more new podcasts and so forth with regards to that. I'm going to focus in on my project, and then she's going to focus in on her business/working. And we want to see how further we can grow in this aspect. In 6 months, we'll come back to this. And, I'll either say, hey, it was a success. This is what my product was. And me focusing, I have a lot of great things to say about that. Or I may have a different objective with regards to focusing in on something and taking that. But that's one of the things that I think will help right now. I know there are a lot of people who do listen to our podcast and so forth. We're not stopping it. We're not completely quitting it. We're just putting it on hold for 6 months to work on this project that I have that I'm going to be putting all my focus in for the next 6 months. And my wife a little more on her business and so forth. And then we'll come back. And so hopefully, we don't lose too many of you guys or whatever the circumstance is. But once we do come back to the podcast, the plan is for us to put 100% into that and to help grow that as well.
All right.
So thank you guys who do listen, you guys who are listening in other countries. Big shout out to you guys. Thank you guys for listening as well. Just a whole 6 months. That time will go like that. And another thing my wife had sent me, and I sort of kind of want to share this too, but she sent me a Instagram. We always send each other Instagram. What is it? Like Instagram post and so forth. And one of the posts that she sent me, it says it's not available. Post unavailable.
Probably got deleted. But just basically it was talking about just if you focus for 6 months, just how further you will be once you if you really just focus and for those 6 months. So
right. It could change your life, basically.
It could change your life.
Yep. 6 months of focusing can change your life on something. So you guys think about that. Those of you who are multitasking, you got a bunch of stuff going. You may, it may be wearing you thin. It may be easy for you to do, but imagine just zeroing in on one thing, focusing in on that. I'm not sure the time frame. It could be 6 months. It could be 2 years, 3 years. Sometimes you hear those stories with regards to that. And seeing where you can go in that aspect, growing that hugely. And then once that is done, it's self-sustained, then the next thing you focus on, and then growing that, and then so on and so forth, instead of trying to do so many things at once, because then the effort gets chopped down. So instead of 100%, you may be putting 30% into 3 different things. So take that into consideration. Think about that. Let us know what you think about what it is that we're doing. I know some of you guys are going to want to hear this, but we want to hear those comments and so forth with regards to that. And yeah, you know, as always, be great. We'll be back in 6 months.
Take care.
We love you guys.